Welcome back, everyone. We're on the Twitch Launchpad showing you the new, greatest, and latest from the cloud at AWS reInvent. And we are here with GuardDuty. Could you introduce?
Yeah. Serious stuff.
Yeah.
It's got a jacket, so it's got to be serious.
It's got to be serious.
Could you introduce yourself and
sure.
what are you announcing today?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Mike Fuller. I lead product management for AWS Security. We launched a new security service built from the ground up on Tuesday night at the event. Most of the people here were playing craps, but it's out, it's security. We've had a lot of customers adopt the service, so it's a new intelligent threat detection service, and we've gotten tons of good customer enablement, and happy to show it to you guys today.
Yeah, is it out already? People can use this?
It's out in full GA in 14 regions, so pretty much covers all of AWS in all 14 regions globally, so it's fully GA, ready to go, scale as high as you can, much as you can throw at it. Intelligent threat detection, machine learning, AI for security.
Awesome. We're going to get there. All right.
Okay, I'm done.
That was
and how does it fit into the whole security spectrum that we have? We had the guys from WEF talking about managed rules. Like, where does GuardDuty fit in?
Yeah, so GuardDuty is very specific, right? It's focused very specifically on active threats, right? So how can we monitor in a broad way all of your AWS accounts, all of your AWS resources, and all of your, globally, right? And in all of your regions, and monitor without a lot of footprint in your account, a lot of heavy lifting, and detect very interesting things that are either malicious or unauthorized in your account. So it's very focused on that active threat detection. I like to talk about it in the sense of like your home security system. This is not the system to make sure your door is locked or your window's locked or you didn't leave your garage door open. This is the system to watch your house after the fact, whether you locked all your doors or not. What's going on around my house? Is there anybody coming in? Is the mailman trying to break in my back door? This is kind of the watch everything service.
Oh, that's cool. So it's a very fundamental part of security.
And I know you got a demo, so we're going to get there. Just before we go to the demo, what were customers doing before GuardDuty? Obviously, it's making a lot of things simpler, but security has been around for a while, and and you know, customers have been implementing threat detection. So what were they doing before, and how is that so much simpler?
Yeah, so a couple of things. So customers, obviously, that are migrating to the cloud from the on-premises world are using traditional intrusion detection, intrusion protection systems, network-based, host-based systems, and they're very good, and this is very complementary to that. Many of those systems are looking for threats in the network on the host itself, but in the cloud, it's much broader than that. You've got managed services, you've got instances, you've got accounts, account keys, account credentials, users. So you got data in S3, so you're looking at a much broader spectrum. It's no longer just protecting your EC2 instances and your network, now you're protecting kind of a much broader spectrum of potential threats. And so GuardDuty, and so what people are doing today is they're using those traditional IDS, IPS type detections, network and host-based, but they're looking for something more. How do I monitor all my accounts? How do I monitor all my account keys, account credentials? How do I monitor all the behavior in my accounts and API calls? That's kind of new. And with the cloud, you can consume all that data at scale and you can watch all those things.
We've got a question already, sorry Julio, from Charlie for India. Does GuardDuty have any overhead on my instances?
So good question, Charlie. So no, it doesn't have. GuardDuty today is purely watching everything. So that's the really great thing about GuardDuty. It's super non-abrasive. It doesn't have any footprint in your account whatsoever. You turn the security service on, it operates all on our infrastructure and monitors all of your telemetry sources, things like CloudTrail, AWS CloudTrail, VPC flow logs, DNS logs, and it doesn't make any changes. That's all up to you, right? So GuardDuty watches everything, it detects, it lets you know that something, behavior that you need to check out is happening, and then you can take that, push it into an event management system, or you can use a Lambda job to go take action. So the action is all on you, we're just watching for you and making that super easy.
Just to make it a bit more concrete, could you give us a couple examples of threats that this would prevent or notify?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're basically looking at kind of 3 basic categories of threats, right? So right out of the gate, you push, it's one single click to turn on, I'll show you that in a minute, and it's analyzing all the data sources around your environment, so all the metadata, how the behavior, the API calls, the network traffic, right? And right out of the gate, it's integrating threat intelligence feeds from some of our top partners like CrowdStrike, Proofpoint, as well as AWS Security. And so we can detect things like an instance of yours is talking to a known command and control server, or it's requesting a domain that we know has malware, or things like API calls coming in from an IP address that we know is bad, or from an anonymous proxy, or a Tor node, or one of your instances Bitcoin mining. So many basic things right out of the box.
To me.
Yeah, and then we start behavioral analysis. Then we start learning what your environment looks like. What is it doing? We profile all of your EC2 instances, all the network behavior, all of your IAM roles, all of your API calls, and then we watch that for behavioral anomalies that would suggest something unusual is happening. Like an IAM user that's only ever made these 5 API calls, all of a sudden they're changing passwords, they're trying to shut down CloudTrail logging, they're snapshotting volumes, that's unusual. Or an instance that's only ever pushed data into a database, now it's taking data out of the database, it's sending it to an IP address that we've never seen before. So unusual network behavior, unusual behavior in the account itself.
Cool, let's take a look at it.
Let's go for the demo, Michael. All right.
So we spent a lot of time.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So we spent a lot of time making GuardDuty super simple to enable and operate. I wanted all customers to have a hard excuse not to have this turned on as a security best practice everywhere. So you can see here, it's in the console today. It's available in 14 regions. One click to get started. You get this one-click page. This is onboarding. This is all it takes. We're simply telling you, look, by enabling the service, we're gonna analyze these data sources on your behalf. Things like CloudTrail, VPC flow logs, DNS logs. We're going to pull those from the back end, completely parallel to what you may be doing with those log sources today. You don't have to go enable those sources. You don't have to deploy anything. We're going to do that super high rate, super efficient, and near real time. We're going to ask for some permissions that we need to do this. These are service-linked roles. We do all that on behalf. And literally all we ask you to do is click this button. So you click the button, boom, you're up and running. So that's it. It's one click to enable, you're up and running. If you want to use APIs, there's APIs, one API call. Or if you want to use CloudFormation, you can use CloudFormation. You can turn this on in hundreds of accounts, thousands of accounts, and you can aggregate it all.
This is amazing, because for those of us who've been trying to deploy IDS over the last 20 years, something, right? You did in 1 second what would take literally weeks and months to do, right? So
exactly.
So it's crazy.
I had a large enterprise customer, has 400 plus accounts, literally turn this on in a day. And they're like, we've never been able to roll something out like this so quickly, so fast. And the fact that it has no footprint in your account, you can tell all your application developers, your business owners, there's no possible way that enabling this service from a security perspective is going to have any impact on any of our workloads, any of our applications, no performance impact, no reliability impact. So it's easy to say, yeah, let's turn this on across 400 accounts globally. We know that there's not going to be any abrasive impact.
We've got a quick question here from Taco Dog 40K, great name. Do GuardDuty and WAF work together?
Right, so they can. This is the beauty of AWS, everything's APIs, right? So we have a lot of customers that are taking GuardDuty alerts. We push those to the console, as you can see here, but we also push those to CloudWatch events. And CloudWatch events gives you the option to put it into SNS or SQS, and then you can kick off a Lambda job, and you can change your WAF rules. So you want to change a WAF rule to block traffic, you can do that. You want to change a rule on your next generation firewall, you can do that. You want to kick off, send it to a Slack. You want to send it to a workflow, a ticketing system, you want to change security group rules, all those things are possible using GuardDuty to be the detector, and then you can use things like Lambda, and we have 15 partners that have integrated with this service, and they all have really cool integrations as well to block traffic, take IPS type behavior.
Could you tell us a bit more about that? What's the role of partners in the service and how those things integrate?
Sure. Yeah, so it's really important for us, security is an ecosystem play, right? There's no one solution. It's all about having layered solutions, lots of solutions that integrate really well together and are easy to use. So we worked really closely with a number of our top partners. We've, like I said, 15 technology partners, or 15 partners that launched with us, 10 of them are technology partners, partners like Palo Alto and Trend Micro, Alert Logic, and others. And they're really doing the next level, right? So GuardDuty is easy, one click to turn on, as you saw. We're monitoring everything. We're pulling the findings. We're delivering them to you. Now I want to do more. I want to do forensics operations. I want to do incident response. I want to do IPS. I want to do host-based scanning. I want to scan for malware. I want deep packet inspection. I want to block traffic in the firewall. Our partners are kind of providing that breadth of additional one more click to do those things.
That's cool. And what should system administrators do to make their apps more suitable to being protected by GuardDuty? Can their logs help in any way? Services that they should enable, things like that?
Well, you should enable GuardDuty, right? That's the number one thing. As far as, we have lots of ways and security best practices that our customers should follow, and that all falls in that beginning bucket. How do you do things to not get attacked? GuardDuty, though, helps you kind of watch independently of that. So I'm definitely not the expert to tell you and go through the list of the things you should be doing as far as best practices. We have a lot of partners, customers, our folks, as well as white papers to tell you how to do that. Despite that, though, you should always be watching because there's 0 days out there, there's mistakes that can be made, misconfigurations, there's new ways attackers can figure out a way in. GuardDuty is the easy way, low cost, cost-efficient way to monitor everything in all of your accounts.
That's awesome. And could you give just a slide overview of how it looks under the hood? Is it deterministic? Is it AI? How does it work?
Sure.
Yeah, it says machine learning, so I got to ask.
Yeah,
Tell us
absolutely.
a little more.
Absolutely. So yeah, this is what AWS is really good at, right? So how do you make a push button service? A lot of magic's happening under the covers. Massive amounts of data, as you can imagine. We have customers that have petabytes of data coming in that are metadata associated with all the activity in their accounts. How do you consume all that at scale? How do you do that in an efficient way in near real time, right? How do you do that and produce not a lot of noise and alerts, right? So a lot of the magic we're working on our side is how do we consume all that? We stand up massive amounts of infrastructure in each of our regions. We consume all this in very high volume, very high scale in near real time, and we process it through a number of detection engines, threat intel, anomaly detection, behavioral analysis. How do we profile all these EC2 instances, all the network behavior, all the IAM roles of all these customers? Thousands, tens of thousands of our customers. So being able to do that and turn it on for each of those individual customers, manage all their profiles individually, allow them to get detections that are based on their account alone. So there's a lot of magic happening in the colors to do that. A lot of that we're integrating threat intel, as I talked about. We have anomaly detection, which is heuristics, mathematical models, and then we get into the machine learning. So we've done some interesting things around training machine learning models on our accounts. We have tens of thousands of AWS accounts within Amazon, as you can imagine, and we've trained interesting machine learning models to be able to detect more advanced attacks, like data exfiltration via DNS. What does a normal DNS pattern look like? What does data exfiltration in DNS look like? And be able to recognize that accurately. Or things like zero-day malware that's using domain-generated algorithms. How do you detect what domain-generated algorithm looks like coming from DNS and accurately detect on that?
Yeah,
so
wow.
pretty interesting, cool things. And then we're doing a lot of research there. We have a bunch of applied scientists, mathematicians sitting with security engineers, and we're producing 1 to 2 new detections a month, and customers just sit to take advantage of that as we push it into the service.
That's cool.
So all the security learnings from Amazon itself are being applied
Absolutely.
and integrated into GuardDuty.
My biggest customer is Amazon.com.
Yeah, I can imagine
right?
that.
So AWS and Amazon use this service internally. We're basically crowdsourcing ideas on new detections and collaborating both with them and all of our other thousands of customers that have enabled the service in the last 2 days. All of us are collaborating. We're getting feedback mechanisms from our customers to understand, what you want us to do next, what other detections do you want, what detections are working, where can we tune them, and we're working around the clock to continue to tweak, tune, add new detections, use new techniques around machine learning and AI to make it better.
So we got a bunch of questions, Julio. We should try and answer those.
While you're looking at a good question, I'll do one more. There's one more important thing I want to talk about while you're looking at the question. Multi-account, right? So one of the big things that comes from customers, they say, that's really interesting, Mike. I love how it's one click to turn on. Great. I have 400 accounts. I have 1,000 accounts. I have 500 accounts. How easy have you made that for me to manage? So within GuardDuty, we have a multi-account feature. Once you turn it on in your security-owned account, you can quickly upload a CSV with all of your account IDs and email addresses of your other accounts in your organization. You can securely link these accounts together with a couple API calls or in the UI itself. And now you've got hundreds or thousands of accounts linked to your security-owned account. All your findings automatically get aggregated and all get pushed out through CloudWatch events. Literally, you basically have turned this on across all your accounts globally, and you've aggregated all the findings in one place as a security team. You're not affecting any of your other account owners, and you're off and running.
All right, we have time for a question.
A few quick questions. Yes or no answers. Is this available in GovCloud?
It's not available in GovCloud yet. All other regions except for China and GovCloud, those will be here in the first half of next year, so very shortly.
Could we use GuardDuty for private or VMware loads?
VMware loads running on AWS, sure. So we're only covering AWS at the moment, so we're optimized for AWS, and that's where we're focused. So anything running on AWS is covered.
And what cost looks like?
Very important, good one, cost. So the other thing I tried to do here is make this really hard for customers to tell me why they're not turning this on, and cost will obviously be one of them. So you convinced me, Mike, awesome, I'm going to turn this on. Wait, hold on, what's the catch? How much does it cost? So we worked really hard to make this as cost affordable as possible. We built it from the ground up to be cost efficient. So we price based on the volume of the logs that we analyze on your behalf, right? And so there's a free trial involved, so it's 0 cost to turn it on, 30 days free trial. In that free trial, we tell you exactly how many of these data sources we've analyzed in your account and exactly the estimated cost. For most customers that are in our private preview, it's been low single digits of their overall AWS spend. In most cases, less than 1%. So you got an account doing $100,000 in AWS a year, this is less than $1,000 a month.
Awesome.
So
all right,
really, really
we're out of time.
Yeah, that's
Thank
really
you very much,
awesome.
Michael. This
Thank
is great.
you
This
very
is
much.
Turn
Call
it
to
on.
action. Go turn on the service.
Click on that button now. Do it now.
Remember, security is job 0, guys.
Click on
Turn
that button
this on.
now, all of you.
And we'll be with you in right a minute.
All right.
GuardDuty, Amazon
Thank you,
GuardDuty.
Michael. Thank you very much.
Yep.